Good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to episode 5. Yes, 5. I'm ditching 4. I'm ditching all even numbers, in fact. I've decided. I don't like them. They give me the creeps. And I found out that there's a whole tribe of us that can't deal with even numbers. So, when it's in my control, we will be ditching them. So this is episode 5. And hopefully we'll have episode 7 come up with not such a long hiatus as today. Yes, it's back to knitting. We're in Melbourne, Sunday morning, beautifully sunny, quite cold, and we're back in lockdown. It's called a snap lockdown, apparently, for a week, because we had some people come in with the Indian strain, which apparently is super infectious. Anyway, I'm taking the opportunity to do a quick catch up and let you know what I've been doing. And boy, is it a lot. I didn't realize I had so much work, so I'll try and fit it all into half an hour and I'll just jump right in. And I'll do the oldest first, because this is a project I've wanted to do for at least 30 years, maybe. Yes, at least 30 years. I was given this glorious book about 30 years ago, I'd say. Modern Knitting Illustrated. Gorgeous. It's got a fabric cover. Illustration on the inside of the book is, can you see it? Absolutely glorious. I love it. They don't seem to make books like that anymore. But it's beautiful. And apart from all kinds of wonderful 40s style garments to knit, I fell in love with, of course I haven't marked it, it should fall open, yes it does, on the page. When I saw that little image in the t-shirt in particular, I've always wanted to make it. The pants are obviously humongous because of the nappies from the 30s and 40s, and they probably are wool, and they used to be called wool soakers. Hiding behind my book. I don't know if I'm going to do the pants, but I did the little t-shirt. So before I show you the t-shirt, I just wanted to show you in the back of the book. It's got to be 30s and 40s because there's a lot of thrifting going on in the back of the book. I'll just show you quickly. Just from about there, if you can see, unraveling a garment, winding it up, skeins it up, and then this bit here where it's washed and you hang a little weight on the bottom to get all the crinkles out. How to repair socks. This is my personal favorite because I think this has to do with how to lengthen your garment by taking the 1x1 rib off and knitting it longer and then putting the rib back on. And fixing glove fingers, replacing heels. And then there is our favorite. Look at that. The mitered corner blanket that the whole world is knitting in the form of the mitered square blanket. There it is, using up all your scraps. It's fabulous. I love this book so much. I would love to knit more out of it. The only downside, I mean, look at that little cherub. The only downside to books from that era is that their sizing is very limited. And we've become bigger. That's the excuse I use anyway. But in general, I think we've become bigger. And then if I think about the 30s and the 40s and it was the Second World War, so I'm thinking along the lines, well, people just weren't that well fed. I'm going with all those things. But that's the only limit to books like this, is that they don't have a lot of sizing options, but they're glorious and I love them. And I'll show you now. I knitted, oh, it's so cute. Will you just look at that? Oh, it's adorable. It's just adorable. And what was interesting was I was really worried that the sleeves looked so tiny. And then I thought, well, if it were a skivvy or a t-shirt, that's the fit you would have, isn't it? I loved the way the sleeves were done. Can you, oh, I don't know if you can see that. It's got some interesting shaping. Oh, geez. Let me try and get it like this. There we go. It's got some interesting shaping happening under the arm. It's knitted flat. It's knitted flat, and then you pick up, this is, I love constructing children's garments like this. You knit it flat, and then you pick up stitches out of the armhole, and then you knit the sleeve, and then it becomes really easy just to open the bottom and lengthen the sleeve, because often little ones don't grow out so much as they grow in length. But I love this stitch. I just love it. Everything about this I adore. I'm just going to keep it, and maybe somebody will have a baby someday, and I'll gift it. The yarn that I used was the 4-ply white gum wool from Tasmania. This is quite a wrecked ball band. I bought another ball of the same yarn when I was at they come in 100-gram balls. If you want to go and read about it, it's certified sustainable and traceable by New Merino. It's a registered trademark, whitegumwool.com.au. It's soft. It's like a cloud, honestly. And I bought another ball because I might make the pants. I hope that doesn't take me another 30 years. But I highly recommend this yarn for children's wear. It's very, very soft. It's got 0 itch factor. There are 472 meters on 100 gram. That is a lot of yarn. It's a fine 4-ply. It is a hand wash. This particular shade is Storm. And yep, if you're interested in sustainable yarn, I would definitely look into using her yarn. She also does post out natural, and I've dyed the yarn, I think two or three dye goes I did with this yarn, and it takes dye really well. It doesn't change the structure. It's still soft. And one of my students is busy knitting something that I dyed, and oh, it just looks phenomenal. Anyway, so that was that. And then this journey actually continued. I'm just going to put this on the floor. This journey actually continued in this. I found this little pattern. I think I found it through my friend Elizabeth was knitting it. And I've knitted it a few times, but I wanted to knit it with some color detail, just around the neck and on the arms. I felt like I wanted to do that. So as a result, I kind of rewrote the pattern a little bit, because it's got some shortened rows to make the back neck stick up. And you know what? It's the same pattern as the one from the 1930s retro garment. This one is knitted from the top down. The other one was knitted in 2 pieces and then picking up for the armholes. This one is knitted completely in the round and from the top down. So I fiddled a little bit with the collar to make it easier to understand, to knit it from the top down. So this is the garment called Eben. It is lovely. I've knitted it 2 or 3 times, I think. And here's the result. And it's glorious and sweet. and cute and everything and everything and everything. Oh, so if you can notice that this back part has got a wider neck band than the bottom part. It was just easier to do it like that so that the instructions wouldn't become too complicated when you get to the buttonhole area, because I have written up the pattern. I've rewritten the pattern to accommodate that. So it's still, sorry, very much that pattern, but I've just written it up so that it can accommodate the little color changes in the, and it's such a grandpa vest. I just think it's super, super cute. The yarn that I used for it was a Swiss yarn, Lang yarns. It's got a really, really interesting fiber. It's not, it's like an I-cord. It's a knitted fiber. It's got quite a lot of stretch. Feels really gorgeous. It's called Love by Wool Addicts. It's a 4-ply, 92% wool, 8% polyamide, made in Switzerland. Also very, very, very old company. It comes in 25-gram balls, like the little one I just held up. Very soft, lovely colors. 125 meters on 25 grams. That's a really, really, really fine yarn, but it knits up. I really liked the way it knitted up. It was a pleasure to knit. So if you're looking for yarns to knit children's wear, I would recommend the white gum wool from Tasmania and the Love by Wool Addicts. Highly recommend it. I enjoyed knitting it. It's beautifully soft and very squishy. Let me see if I can get the instructions, care instructions. 30 degrees, so it is a wool wash. It doesn't look, it says 30 degrees, but there's no hand in the bucket, so maybe it is machine washable on a wool cycle. I'm not sure. I have to tell you something about European yarns, and I hope there's some Australians listening. I never knew that this was a thing since I came to Australia. Now I do know it's a thing. You will notice that here on the tension square it says 27 stitches to 36 rows on a 4mm needle. I don't know how they work their tensions, but it's not correct. You can't get 27 stitches on 4mm needles. It's just never going to work. So what I recommend you do, this is every knitter's nightmare, you really, when you're using European yarns, you need to swatch. I mean, mostly 4-ply will be knitted on a 3.25, which is a number 10 needle, right? But you need to swatch. Don't rely on the ball band to tell you what to do, is what I'm trying to say, particularly with European yarns. I never grew up, and I was taught to knit by my German mother. I never grew up with being fixated on the ball band and the information on the ball band. So it's something that I've had to teach myself. And there's an upside and a downside to that. The upside is that I don't rely on it. I just find a yarn and then work with that. And that's taking away a boundary, which is absolutely fabulous. So, yes, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say don't get fixated on what's written on the ball band when you are using a European yarn. The other thing is that a lot of Europeans will knit continental, and continental by its nature is a little bit looser than English knitting. You throw it from this side. So take that into consideration as well. And don't be put off because the ball band is confusing you. it doesn't matter. The ball band is just an indication. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the European companies, although this company has been around for a long time, Lang Yarns, if you go and read up about them online, you'll probably read something like 18 something something. So anyway, who am I? That's just my take on the whole thing, because I do work in a yarn store, and I do find people getting really rattled by the ball bands and the tension on the ball bands, and it's just, you need to just play. I know. Every knitter's nightmare. I don't want to do a tension swatch. If you're too lazy to do a tension swatch, just start on the smallest part of the project, go up a little bit like a sleeve, and then decide, and then change. Don't cast on 400 stitches, knit 10 centimeters, and then check the tension and you realize, oh my lord, this isn't going to work, is what I'm saying. So that was that, which was super exciting, and I'm so happy I did it. It was a lovely learning curve, because I'm not good at following patterns, and that 1930s pattern really challenged me with the picking up of the stitches around here, because I kept thinking, you're wrong, but turns out they were right. Anyway, then I kept going with the baby. I designed little booties and a hat a long time ago, and the last place that I worked, they used the pattern, and I felt like taking the pattern back because theoretically it does belong to me, and it is my design. So we got this new yarn in. I found a new yarn. It's called Pepin 8. Ooh, the light is so bad. It's too bright in here, but anyway. Pepin 8 by Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks makes Pepin 8, 10 and 14. So that's 8 ply, 10 ply and 14 ply. It is a machine wash, 100% Australian fine merino wool superwash. It is absolutely gorgeous. The color range on Pepin, on the Pepin, is right up my alley. It's beautifully just low-key and muddy. No bright colors in that range. It's absolutely exquisite. So I did my little set, so cute, of booties and hat. Let me get it up here. And this is the hat that goes with it, in three of the colors in Pepin. You can do this hat in one color if you like. I just do it like that, and then the ends turn into where you swap the yarn around into a tassel. And the little booties, these little sock tops, obviously you don't have to do the sock tops, then you just have a very plain little booty. I like putting the sock tops on. Number one, they're warm, and number two, they actually keep the booty on the foot. So this is the first colorway, and then it's only available in 2 sizes because at some stage the kids just don't need booties anymore. This is a pink variation of the same thing, and then I've started the hat to go with it, and that'll be mainly one color, and I might just do one section of the I don't want to say beige. I really don't want to say beige. What shall we call it? Big Bang Buff. Color with it. And I really like the way the colors sit together. And the whole range, where's the third color? There it is. The whole range, you can put any color with any color in that range, and it sits together absolutely exquisitely. So, voila, this is all the baby things I've been knitting and just playing around with. I've got socks, obviously. I'm knitting socks for my cousin, for myself. I will talk to you about these socks that I knitted for myself. This was some yarn that I dyed myself, and I knitted it up, and it was for me a little experiment. I'll take this one first because this is the one I knitted first. This is a very sweet little pattern. It's a 2x2 rib over 2 rows, and then when you go onto the 3rd row, you just shift the 2x2 rib up 1, and it gives you this kind of spiral effect. And if I hold it like this, the spiral is going around my foot like that, right? And this is how it knitted up. And then I thought, oh, I can't have the other foot with the spiral going in the same direction. I'm going to feel like I have to crab walk, you know. So it just feels wrong, you know. It just feels. Anyway, so I thought, okay, the other sock, I will swing the 2x2 rib to go spiral off in the other direction. And will you look at that? The spiral colorway that happened on that foot, because I spun off in the other direction, it didn't come up the same. And I love that. It's completely different. Interesting, isn't it? And then I just I used just some yarn that I had. I don't like this color. I don't like this peachy color. It's not my thing. But yeah, I tried to dye out of my comfort zone. It sounds weird, doesn't it? Dyeing out of your comfort zone. Isn't most dyeing out of your comfort zone? Anyway, I mean color dyeing. So that's them, and I love them. I think they're cute and glorious and wonderful, and now I can wear them because they've been finished for ages, and I haven't worn them because I wanted to show them to you. That one. Then I did some more dyeing, as you all, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I did a little experiment with the Ashford dyeing kit. And the Ashford dyeing kit comes with 2 skeins of sock yarn that you can dye up, and I did that. And predictably, I just did some rainbow dyeing. And the other one, I did the same, but I put in a grey section, like a grey-black section, and I've already started to knit that one. So that's this one. That was the other skein that I've balled up. So this is what the other skein looks like, right? And I finished one sock. Pull it onto a sock blocker because then it looks much prettier. Silly girl. So I'll just slip this on here. And oh. So seriously, just a vanilla sock with a turned heel. This one, normally when I knit socks for myself, I cast on 64 stitches. And I always have a slight problem over here because I have quite a high instep. So I thought maybe I would try and knit the socks with 68 stitches and see if it would make a difference to the space here around the instep. It has made a bit of difference. But then I was thinking, for those of you who have the same problem, if the maths of a sock works like this. So you cast on 68 stitches, then half of that, which is 34, you knit your heel flap with. And generally, the amount of stitches that you have for your heel flap, which would be 34 in this case, you also knit down 34. And then on the side of your heel flap, you pick up half of 34, which is 17. I have to laugh because I'm mathematically incredibly challenged, and I'm sure my mother's watching this, waiting for me to make a maths mistake. So half of 34 is 17, so then you pick up 17 stitches round up here. But this is now, I've worked this out. If you have 34 stitches and you're going to knit 34 rows, right? and you're going to have 17 stitches up the side here. If you knit this heel flap maybe 4 rows longer, right? If you knit it 4 rows longer, it means you've got 2 more stitches to pick up on the side of this heel flap, which makes this whole area just slightly bigger, and you will have a slightly longer gusset, which having a slightly longer gusset over here where you do that, you know, where you do those decreases really doesn't matter. And I do think that those 4 rows are going to give you a bit more space up at the top here. So that's what I'm going to try. I didn't do it with these socks. These socks are 68 stitches, but now when I knit up these socks, which are going to be next, I'm going to try it again with 64 stitches, and I'm just going to add 4 rows onto my heel flap and pick up 2 extra stitches either side of the heel flap, and I'm going to see how much space it's going to give me just across my instep. Yep, so I quickly finished this one because I wanted to show it to you. I think it's turned out really playful and joyful and lovely. Yes, so that's the one. Oh, now I can cast on the other one, and maybe when you see me next time, I will have 2 pairs of rainbow socks, which are really fun things. If you want to know how to use this one, I actually did do a little tutorial in a previous video, and the Ashford dyeing kits are freely available online. Well worth it. There's heaps of dye in there that you can use. Okie dokie. So more socks, more socks, more socks, more socks. I am, of course, knitting for my wonderful cousin in London, and I'm knitting him. Again, I like to experiment with how much yarn is available for the sock, etc., etc. So Opal sock yarn, this make, is one of my most favorite commercial brands, and they do series of sock colorways, shall we call it that? A series of colorways based on, say, fairy tales or goodnight stories, or they also go into partnership with local shepherds in Germany and support them, and I think that's called Schafpartie, and so they have those kind of series as well. The series that I have a few here from different series. The current one that I'm knitting for my cousin is from a series of paintings by Knitwear. And so this ball band will have, sorry, it's falling apart because I've had it, Knitwear's work, and then they pull out colors from the artist's paintings, and they, let's see if it works, there we go, and they put up colors. Now my aunt was telling me that my cousin thinks I'm a genius because of the colors. I wish I could just let him believe that, but it's actually not me. It's computerized. It's done with a computer. But that's true. I think it's fabulous that he thinks I'm a genius, but I am, but you know. So what I did was I halved the ball so I could see how much I wanted to use up the whole skein. And what I did was I started the sock from the toe up. I must have pulled it out twice. I don't like toe up socks. I just don't like the construction. I don't, even with the heel, when you can do so many different heels with the toe up. Anyway, it's personal taste. I don't like toe up. But I did kind of knit it almost all the way when I decided I didn't like the toe, so I pulled it out. So I knew that how long, I can even go longer here, like even maybe 2 centimeters longer on the leg. So I'll remember that because this is what I had left over once I'd finished the whole sock. So I'll cast on the next sock in the near future. But what I wanted to say, This particular colorway of 100 Wasser's painting was called, oh, where was it? I have to find it because it made me laugh. Was called, hergestellt in Deutschland, Sockenanleitung. Die vier Einsamkeiten. This is the name of this painting. In English, that's the four lonelinesses. I mean, is one not enough? Do you have to have four? Maybe he was a depressed human being. I don't know, but that picture's not very depressing. And the other thing they do, and in the beginning when I used them quite a long time ago, they used to print on the back just this pattern, like a really, really straightforward vanilla sock pattern, I think in 3 sizes. But if you look on the picture there are 2 types of sock patterns on there, right? This is the very vanilla sock, and then this one is knitted like this, as opposed to this one like that, right? And this one's pattern is on the back of the ball band, but it's written in German. So you'd have to have a German friend to translate this for you if you wanted to give that one a go. But if you just want to knit a vanilla sock, that's what you're looking at. Prima! So, yeah, 1 loneliness surely should be enough. I don't know why you should do 4. Anyway, so that's his 1 sock. Then I have another sock that I'm going to, I don't think I'm going to knit this one for him because I think these 2 are too close. But this series was a series done on the paintings by Claude Monet. And so this would be the sock there. But in this case, they didn't put the sock instructions on the back. What they did was, there we go, a little history lesson on Claude Monet. Fabulous. I love things like that. Oscar Claude Monet wurde am 14. November 1840 in Paris geboren. So, and they have some of his works on the back here. Venedig, Japanische Brücke, Frau mit Sonnenschirm, etc., etc. Das Haus in Giverny. I love things like that. So, no, Lawrence, you're not getting this one, but you might get this one. This one is another opal yarn, and this is what I mean. See, this says beautiful world. So this would be a series based on like a beautiful world, and this one is called Windgedicht, which is a wind poem. Let's see what's on the back of this ball band. Okay, there is how it will knit up, more or less. And this ball band, what's this one got on the back? I think this one, yes. I don't want to break it. So strickt man Strümpfe. This one is knitted from the top down, just a very straightforward vanilla sock. See, so I love this. I love this series. At the moment in the shop we've got bedtime stories, a series of bedtime stories. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't repeat series. No, they don't. So I've got these 2. One for Lawrence, one for me. And this one I will finish. It's summer in England now, so we can't wait for winter. How are we doing for time? Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'll just quickly show you my acquisitions. We had a Knitters Guild 2 weeks ago maybe, and my friend Little Yellow Cat was there, and I got 2 skeins of sock yarn from her. This one, she does the colorways, sorry, she also likes the 1930s and 40s, so this one would be 1940s colorway. This one is Bush Christmas because she also likes Australiana, so her all the colors that she does would be in that genre, sort of like 1930s, 40s colorways. 1950s she does as well. And little sidebar, her and I watch this sewing program. Oh my goodness. What is her name? She's so adorable. I'll put a link down, but she does vintage sewing. I probably will think of her name in a minute while I'm talking. It's a YouTube channel that we both watch. That's really gorgeous. Then I normally buy yarn from this lovely yarn dyer, dyed by Hand Yarns. This one is called Japonica, superwash nylon. It's a fingering sock weight, which is 4 ply. So I bought this colorway, which I think is gorgeous. And I'm going to, the red's blowing out a bit, and I'm going to do the cuff, the heels and the toes in that red little mini. Those two go together. I need more hands. I need to, I don't know if I ever meet my maker, I'm going to say to him, you've got the hand thing wrong for us crafters. We need at least another 2 pairs to get everything done that we want to get done. I am working on something else over here. It's a commission knit. It's so difficult. It's a brioche. Oh my gosh, that's blowing out completely. It's a fisherman's brioche jumper that I'm knitting for a gentleman who's just bought a boat. And he wants to look the part. But it's in brioche, which I've never done before, and it's got some brioche stitches that are moving across the top of the chest, which I've also never done before. This is the 3rd time I started it, and I need to, do I want to do it? No. Do I need to do it? Yes. Because what happens when you're really quite accomplished at your craft? You know, when I sit down, I knit a pattern, I go, yeah, blah, 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 got it. Right. Not with this one. I really, really had to concentrate and figure out how to do it. And I think those kind of exercises for your brain are good. So I'm sure once I've finished it, I'll be happy, but it's a big challenge. It's a big challenge for me, but I'll do it. But I'm not going to show it because it's not so fabulous. And then before I end off, I don't think I've got anything else to show you. It felt like I had so much. I've been playing around with more yarn because I had so much dye left over from the dyeing the sock yarns with the Ashford dyes. I had 400 grams of Nundle pure wool just on a cone standing around. So I thought, I'll just use some of that and try some dyeing. So I did a grey gradient, which I thought came out quite nicely. Beautiful. And then I did, and so I had let me just put this over here, I'll fold it up later. I'm not going to undo these. And so then I had 300 grams more that I just used up. I still haven't used all the dye. I'm going to have to turf it because this one I quite like. I like that turquoisey color that I managed to get with some green and blue. They're all 100 grams, so I can kind of do something with them. Actually, I wonder if a Fair Isle hat. I might use this for the background. And then work some Fair Isle motifs into it. Anyway, I'm digressing now. That's it from me. I am wearing my woven piece that I did when I was doing the 4-shaft weaving. We'll just flap it around all over the place because it's not perfect. But it's 100% alpaca. I had to turn off the heating because it makes too much noise, and it's really warm. and I've already promised it to my friend Stefanus. I'm going to have to wear it first, and then he can have it with my DNA all over it. It's very warm and I love it a lot. And I'm looking forward to doing some more weaving. I'm just busy deciding which fall shaft loom I should buy, and then I'll get stuck back into it. But yes, it is rather nice. Full of mistakes, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I hope you enjoyed this little update. I hope the next one won't take such a very, very long time. And I'm planning to throw the odd little tutorial in here and there. Anything that I spoke about today, I'll put links down at the bottom, and you can go and read up on those things. And I thought I would end off with quotes. I don't know why, just because it seemed like a good thing to do. But this morning I woke up and I had this sentence going through my head. No is a complete sentence. Remember that the next time somebody asks you something that you don't want to do. Greetings from Melbourne. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Mwah. Until the next time.